Welcome back and welcome to my workshop again. It's been a while since I've done anything out here that I've shown you, and today I'm going to have a little look at the little diesel. Been running it today, or it's been running today by somebody else, and the kids have been playing with it and that, and later on it started to have a knock and a little bit of a problem. Now I've just started taking it apart and I remembered that I should be doing this. So what's the problem? Well, on the wheels, this fly crank is loose. So my first thought was, oh, it's just a grub screw, which it may still be. But I've decided I'm going to take the rods off, pull the crank off, give it a good clean up, check what's going on with the grub screw, check it's got a nice something to land on the axle, give it a good clean up, and then Loctite it onto the axle at the same time as doing up the grub screw and Loctiting the grub screw in place, and give it all a good clean up and make sure it's in the right place. So that is the plan. Let's take a look. So I've already taken off two of the locking caps. I was only going to take off this rod, but I couldn't undo this bolt because the pin was spinning from the back. So it's a case of take off all three. So this is going to be difficult one-handed, and so I've lost a screw down there, but I'll get that in a moment. Rod off. I wonder if those two washers should have been behind the rod instead of on top of it. And yes, look at that. So if we take that off, pretty sure there should be a grub screw in there. So we'll give that a good clean up, put a couple of grub screws in it, and then re-Loctite it to the axle as well. Looks like it had Loctite on there that's failed. So should be quite an easy fix, to be fair. So with a bit of investigation through my rack of nuts and bolts, I just started looking at normal bolts first instead of looking for grub screws. I found the 2BA was the right size fit, which is great because I've got somewhere a little pot of 2BA grub screws. So I'll find them and then we'll look to clean it all up and put it back together. But that may wait for another day. I might have a drink now and see my family. So yes, I found my little pot of grub screws. And yeah, I'm going to go and see the family for a bit and come back to this tomorrow. So I'll see you then. So where I've got to, I have used a bit of emery to clean up the shaft axle and to clean up the inside surface of the crank web. This got rid of all the previous Loctite. I've put a grub screw in one side of this for the time being. I've cleaned it all up with the engine degreaser. So good having this in an aerosol, because you can put a bit on, you can spray it, and then it forces the stuff, the grease out. Now what I'm going to do first is put it onto the axle just dry, nip it in place with the Allen key. And I'm going to tell you before I'm not doing it. It makes it a lot simpler. So if I get it in place, I'll make sure it runs, and when I'm happy with how it runs, I'll just put a little mark on the end so I know roughly where it needs to go. I will then take it back off, put some Loctite on the shaft. I'm going to use Bond Lock, Thread Lock and Seal. I'm limited to which Loctites I have, so that is going to be better than nothing. But I've got 2 grub screws holding it in place anyway, so the fact that it's not the best shaft fit or whatever isn't a problem. I'll put the Loctite on the shaft, on the axle, the web back on, onto the mark, tighten it up, make sure it works before that goes off. Then I'll Loctite up the hole on the other side, put the other grub screw in, tighten it up, take the first one out, Loctite that, put it back together, make sure it's all working, and then hopefully we're done. So let's make a start on that. So rods are on, which is a good start. And the wheels go round. So I can't be far off. Let's just and make sure it still goes. Well, that was silly, but I think it's okay. My 3 things are there. That's all right. So right, I think I'm happy with that. It goes together nicely. I just need to take it off, Loctite it and put it back together. So let's give that a go. So I will slacken this grub screw. Some Loctite inside. Now it can quite often be important to think about where you put the Loctite. I mean, ultimately, in theory, it doesn't matter whether you put it in the web or on the axle, except that any surplus gets pushed out. So I've put it in there, the surplus comes out the end. Put it on there, the surplus goes into the bearing. In this case, it doesn't really matter because the bearing is hollowed out. But if this was a wheel and you were going into a complete bearing, you might be pushing the Loctite into the bearing. So I'm going to put it on both as it happens. Push that in, back centres, start to tighten it up, put the rods on, and this time I'm going to put some retainers on the outside. When I'm finished, I will take these back out and Loctite these in place as well. But for now, they can go back together. Tighten that up a bit more. Check it runs. that is going a little bit tight. So don't know why these Allen keys. Oh, it's because I'm going in the wrong hole. That's why I can't find it. Much better. So tighten that up there. Beautiful. So, like I say, now I will Loctite the other side.
Take this one out. And then I'll Loctite this. There we go. Put it back in.
If I was better at editing, I'd have sped this up and put Benny Hill music over it. But I'll let you imagine that. There we go. Make sure they're both tight. There we go. So let's just remind ourselves of what this engine can do. I'll spin you around and we'll have a look at the sound and all that. So just a reminder, it's got on-off key so that during the day I can leave it on. I haven't got to take the body off to switch it all off. I can just take the key away with me and the engine's safe. Key in, turn it on. It's got the 24 volt isolator for these other bits. It's turned on at the moment, and as you turn it's got a brake position, a neutral position for free running, and the throttle. Also got lights, which change to. I've got a problem with one of them, not quite sure why, but up at the front there's white lights. Although again, top one playing up, not quite sure why, and then they switch when you go to reverse. But we also have a smoke unit, which I think I need to put some water in. I'll do that in a minute. And a sound unit. I will show you all of that from the other end once I've topped up the water. So just as a reminder, the lights moving, sound and smoke. Start up. That's better. And then when we shut down the sound, and shut off the smoke. Now, the smoke unit I have replaced recently is one of these units that vibrates water. There's just plain water in there, the same as a humidifier in the house or the aromatherapy things. So if anyone's got any aromatherapy oil that smells like a diesel engine, I'd be very grateful for it. Otherwise, I might put some lavender or something like that in. I haven't experimented with yet trying some blue or black dye in the water, so it's a food colouring, and see if that makes a black smoke. I don't know whether to give that a go or not, but one day. So that's the engine. The only thing I've got left I want to do is make a new drawbar pin, because I've only got a bolt at the moment, so I might do that shortly. But for now, she's back up and running again. And I'm very happy with that. That's sounding very nice. So, I've had to resort to an older phone, so I don't know what this picture quality is going to be like. My battery died, and I don't know where my portable charger is because my daughter has been using it. So, while I was killing my battery, I decided to make a drawbar pin. Just machined from a piece of steel, and then I knurled it as well, just for the fun of it. Put a little groove in it just for the fun of it as well, and cross drilled the bottom to take an R-clip. Don't know how well you can see that. Let's look at it in situ and then show you something else I've done. So there it is. Sits a little bit down. It's a 6mm pin in a 1/4 hole, so it rattles nicely, so it should never work its way out the hole. I normally have a pair of R-clips holding the connector in place. Difficult one-handed, but like that. And so I don't lose the R-clips, what I decided to do was put a little handle on this panel of wood, so I can lift that up easier when I need it, for example to get to the electronics if necessary, and I store the syringe to top up the water up at the front in there. So that's done. I put a little handle on and cross drilled it with 3 holes to take the 3 R-clips, so I don't lose them in transit. And there, that is pretty much done for now. That can go back into storage on its trolley, which is over there at the moment. Be put on charge, ready to be used another day. So there we go, another little job done and a couple of other improvements at the same time. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you soon. take care and keep going. Always so nice to hear any comments you have about what I've done and what I've been doing. But for now, thanks for watching. Please do share, subscribe, comment, do whatever you like. It's all appreciated. And I'll see you next time.